Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh. I got with me
Patty XRP.
And today we got a couple great topics to cover. We're going to break down the delegation process to the signal providers and how you claim your rewards and when you need to do that. We're also going to go through the new Solaris bridge being built by Trustline, which is going to be a two-way bridge to the XRP ledger, Songbird and Flare Network. And we're also going to go through the new partnership with Delchain and Lena Instruments out of Switzerland. But let's start off here first, Patty, and go through some of the questions that people have been asking about the delegation process and the claiming of the rewards. So we know Thursday was the first round of this. Now, when are you first going to be able to see the rewards that you begin earning and accruing?
Yes, so the rewards will first start accruing for the first epoch period for the rewards, and that will be on Saturday morning, and I believe that's like 800 UTC time roughly. So with that, from every Saturday to Saturday, there'll be a week-long like rewards period, and that'll be an individual epoch is what they call them. And then once you get to that, like next week Saturday, a new period of rewards will start coming out. However, the voting power is determined roughly, within 48 hours prior to that reward period starting. So that's why yesterday on Thursday, we had the first voting power lock-in for the delegations to signal providers and the FTSO. So anybody that was able to delegate their wrapped Songbird tokens to signal providers yesterday rather early, you will now be able to start accruing rewards on this coming Saturday, so tomorrow. And those rewards will accrue for an entire week until the 2nd when you're able to claim them. Also, I believe we said it was 3 months to claim. It's actually 30 days. So I don't know if we just misspoke or misread something somewhere. So just to clear that up. Also, since the voting power block for this current rewards period starting tomorrow is already locked in, that means anybody that's already delegated could go ahead and undelegate from one signal provider and then delegate out to another one or to two new ones before the next voting power block gets locked in the next Thursday. So I think that's like the 30th. That's kind of how it's going to go. So it'll be Thursday to Thursday for voting power lock-ins, and then Saturday to Saturday for rewards coming out as far as the timeline goes. And that will continue on until it changes. So for right now, just kind of get used to that. And what I would personally suggest as far as when should I put in new delegations or have new tokens delegated by, I would do it by Wednesday night. It's kind of variable when it locks in because it's a probabilistic application on the Songbird Network and then Flare in the future. So, it's kind of up in the air, and don't leave it up to chance. Just make sure you do it early enough. Otherwise, you can't guarantee that it'll get locked in for that next period.
Now, when it comes to choosing which signal providers, if you chose a signal provider that's over 10% voting power, so that means they have more than 10% of the voting power of all the signal providers, and say, just hypothetically, they're at 12%. That doesn't mean you're not going to earn rewards. It just means that you're going to have the rewards that are given to that oversubscribed signal provider will be limited to max 10%. So it just means that there's less rewards to go around for as many people. So since you have a choice of two, you could switch the next week and say, okay, I want to go with somebody who has less voting power. Now they have a less likely chance to win the reward. So you got to balance this out, and we're going to do it by trial and error here in the beginning. This is why we have a canary network, and it's going to work out really nice being able to see how the rewards work. Now, Saturday, tomorrow, we'll get an idea, and we'll report back on how that worked out for Patty, myself, and some others, and then we'll break this down even further. But until we see the rewards accruing, we really can't, go there with which one's the best way to do it. So we'll report back on that. And also remember, when you're delegating here, and I've seen people on Twitter say, you're not delegating your tokens. You're just wrapping your Songbird, and you're basically sending a contract call to the signal providers. What you're delegating is voting power to them. Okay, so you still maintain custody of those tokens in your possession, and there is no risk at all to delegating to these signal providers. So you don't have to worry about losing your tokens or anything.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good point to add on there, Mickey. And so this will bring us into our next topic, which I also think is very enlightening and will maybe help some people understand more about the delegations.
This is great news.
Yeah, and it kind of explains stuff that we talked about for a while, but didn't necessarily know how it would work. And so Tim Rowley from FTSO AU had a tweet thread, and we'll go through this, where he says you can delegate to more than 2 data providers, but here's the catch: Flare and also Songbird supports 2 separate types of delegation methods. The first one will be delegation by percentage, which for most of us that have used the Bifrost wallet, that's what's supported through the Bifrost wallet at this point in time. So you may have gone 50% to one signal provider and 50% to another. That's what me and Mickey have done so far as well. And Tim notes you've likely used that by now, as well as the second type is called explicit delegation. And he goes, percentage delegation is restricted to 2 addresses, which is what, we experienced when we did this earlier in the week. Additionally, this is because when a transfer of tokens is made by a delegator, the vote power of the delegated address must be updated to reflect the change in the delegator's balance, which costs gas. So imagine if you have, 100 wrap Songbird delegated out to some signal providers, but you send 20 of the wrap Songbird to a friend or something like that. Well, now the voting power needs to be updated on the blockchain, and it needs to interact with the smart contract that's keeping track of that stuff. And in that instance, that's why it would require gas. So as we add more different delegators that you could, or rather signal providers that you could delegate from by a percentage basis, it just increases the gas that's being used and the cost. So the more addresses a delegator delegates to, the more updates needed, the more gas used. All right. So that will explain the percentage delegation. And then he goes, what if you want to delegate to more addresses? That's where explicit delegation comes in. If you explicitly delegate tokens, you set the exact amount to be delegated, but this balance is locked. To transfer these tokens again, you must explicitly undelegate them. So this is an added thing. Let's say you choose to do an explicit delegation and you have 100 wrap Songbird tokens. And I say, all right, I'm going to send 25 to FTSO EU. I'm going to send 25 to AU. I'm going to send 25 to Scandi nodes, and I'm going to send 25 to best FTSO. So you're doing that by token amount rather than percentage. And that will lock those in before you can move them out of a address that they're located in. So in order to move them out, they'd have to be undelegated and then delivered to whoever they're supposed to go to. And with that, he also says when new tokens enter this account, you must delegate the new tokens, unlike percentage delegation where it's done for you. So if Mickey's doing percentage delegation on his address and I send him 20 wrap Songbird and he split 50-50 between 2 signal providers, then 10 of those wrap Songbird will automatically delegate to one signal provider, and then the other 10 will automatically delegate to the other. And you actually don't have to go and update that. So that's kind of a nice thing with the percentage delegation.
That's the auto delegation feature there. And this is what most of us are going to use in the everyday thing is the auto delegation and wrapping by percentage. Now, why would the explicit delegation be used on Songbird and in the Flare ecosystem here, Patty? Where likely is that to be utilized?
Perfect. So, for example, Tim says here, it enables dApps to hold your tokens and delegate for you. So, in this blog, we're going to cover with Trustline. They have successfully tested on their testnet that they're using the delegation of wrap Songbird or wrap Spark tokens to signal providers from within a collateralized debt position, which would be a smart contract. And this is kind of what allows you to do it. So he further says a dApp smart contract can hold a group of user tokens and dynamically handle these explicit delegations for each user, allowing you to use their service and benefit from the FTSO system with freedom of choice. There's a reason for everything on the Flare network. And then he goes, one last note on this. Once you choose which method you want to use, explicit or percentage, your address is locked into that option. You cannot switch between the two. So for anybody that's used percentage delegation already, our specific account address that we did that on would be locked into doing a percentage-based delegation. However, you could always create another, Flare or Songbird address in the future and use explicit with that one. I don't know if any wallets are supporting the explicit delegation right now. My only guess would be if you go directly to a signal provider's website and they allow you to do that kind of explicit delegation through like MetaMask or something like that.
So
Because
this
I've only seen percentage on Bifrost.
Yeah, so we look at it like this. The percentage delegation is mostly for if you're going to keep your assets in your wallet and you're looking to delegate them. You're going to use the percentage one. If you really wanted to delegate for more than two, you could open a Decent account wallet and have a Bifrost one, and then you could delegate to four. This explicit delegation to me, and this is just the first we're hearing of this, so this is the first. We haven't heard from Flare team explain it in the blog yet. And I'm sure we're going to get more information. But from what Patty described there and what Tim Rowley explained, this is really for the dApps. So it means when you're taking your Songbird and you want to use that as collateral in a collateral deposition, which they're calling nests, Nests, on XFi to borrow against it, that Songbird that's in that collateral deposition or that nest can then be still used to earn rewards from the signal providers. And this is the powerful component here, and it's a core piece of what the Flare network has designed and why it is superior to staking. You're able to use the votes from this Songbird token to earn rewards from the signal providers while simultaneously utilizing its value as collateral to borrow against and get YUSD. And also in Trustline, you put Songbird in, or Spark, this is going to be for, as collateral. You borrow against it. You earn yield from lending out your RA, and you're earning yield from the network rewards of the Songbird tokens. You can't do this with staked assets, because once things are staked in proof-of-stake networks, they're locked there. You're also giving up custody, and you have slashing risks. With the Flare network, you have less risk and you're able to earn more yield. So you're earning network rewards and you're earning DeFi rewards simultaneously. And this is a really powerful value proposition and one of the brilliant designs of the Flare network. Since it's not proof of stake, it doesn't use Songbird on the Songbird network to secure the network for consensus, and it doesn't use Spark on Flare to secure the consensus. And this frees up the ability to use these native tokens in other ways that haven't been possible in the past. And this is really going to be powerful. So, you might want to, this is not financial advice, but you might want to think twice about those tokens you're thinking about selling, because those tokens you're thinking about selling have the potential to earn multiple revenue streams from just a single asset. And now what is this called? Utility, Patty. This is utility. Now you get dual utility from your one token. You could use its value in one place, and then you could earn network rewards here, and you're participating in the network. And now on top of this, you got another component that's utility, is the governance vote that comes with these tokens as well.
Yep. So that's two detachable votes. And Mickey, since we kind of know roughly what some of the numbers were on that, the time that the voting block power was decided, it was around 700 million wrapped Songbird tokens delegated in total that we could tell. This is a rough estimate. Also, it looks like per the Flare metrics page that 19.7 million Songbird tokens are due to come out during this rewards period coming up. So if you do the math on that, it's around 2.5% that maybe you could expect to see earned on that if you multiply it
weekly.
out by, and this is on a weekly basis. Now, as more people get their tokens, we will see that rate come down. So I mean, if you took that rate out to over the course of a year, you're looking at 150 to 200% APY on how many Songbird you can earn with your current Songbird. But like I said, the participation will go up. And right now, out of the total amount of Songbird tokens out there that could have been delegated, some are still with exchanges. I don't think the Flare Limited team delegated all theirs. It doesn't look like it at all based on how many are delegated. So, more people will participate in the future. And I just, want to point out that you can start earning now and, maybe if the token does well in the future, it does well. You could always sell the token into something else if you want to, but it is a way for you to earn, and it's also a way to help the network by keeping the Oracle decentralized.
Yes, and this is the participating. So all you have to do is participate right from your Bifrost. I know Decent is going to open up their delegation service soon. They just released their tokens to users. So I believe Decent is now open. You could see your tokens in Decent Wallet from Songbird. And right now the circulating supply is 9.4 billion. Now, all those tokens aren't yet out there actually circulating, but that's the technical. It's not 15 billion. I keep seeing that. It's not 15 billion because the foundation has a bunch right now. But 3,759 FTSO rounds have already taken place. So there's many FTSO rounds that are going to continue taking place all week. So it's not like there's just one round, everyone puts in a price feed, and that's it. There's going to be thousands of rounds that are going to go through. So this should balance out over time the rewards that you do accrue. So we'll get an idea on Saturday, and tomorrow we'll report back and do another video that will cover what type of rewards you're looking to earn. How did the top signal provider do who had the most voting power compared to somebody in the middle? So this is something that's going to take place over time. But let's transition now over into, and if you have any questions, you know what, please leave them in the comments. We've been reading all the comments, and if you have if you have good questions, please leave them there for Patty and I, and we'll try to cover them in the next video. But for the time being, let's transition over to the big announcement from Trustline, which is adding their third component. So right now, Trustline has the mobile app, which was already in beta, which is going to have a fiat on and off ramp, just like Coinbase wallet app does. And it's going to have the ability to utilize XRP ledgers, DEX, and trade RA on it. And it's also going to have the ability to connect to right here, what Patty has on the screen, the Probity DAO. Now, Probity is a decentralized application built on the Flare network that acts as a trustless gateway to the XRP ledger. Now, the Solaris bridge is going to be a two-way bridge, and Patty's going to get into that now, between the Songbird Network and the XRP ledger, and Flare and the XRP ledger. So this is going to allow all assets on Songbird and on the Flare network to move over trustlessly to the XRP ledger. Now, how, Patty, is this different than the F asset system?
Yeah, so with the F asset system, there's no locking up of tokens. They're just transferred between two addresses, and then you get either, a minting on the Flare network or a possible redemption on the XRP ledger, depending on which way you're going. So with Solaris, it's a bridge that can issue assets from Flare onto the XRP ledger. So think about, this is something Matt and his team really want to do in the future, though, is have the F asset system add Bitcoin and, the Flare governance add Bitcoin to the F asset system. You could have FBTC, and then you could issue that FBTC trustlessly in a decentralized manner, as Flare network would be the counterparty that you redeem the FBTC at. And this would allow for Bitcoin to be traded on the XRP ledger in a completely non-custodial, decentralized way, which is pretty amazing considering right now all we have is Bitcoin IOUs, and we have a lot of IOUs for other types of assets like maybe Litecoin or USD or something like that. So since Flare is using, this decentralized F asset system that's trustless to transfer assets between one network to Flare, now we also have that way to send things that come onto Flare onto the XRP ledger still in a trustless manner. So that's what's really exciting for me, Mickey, especially as, we'll have the Flare X liquidity pools, that decentralized exchange that uses an AMM. Well, also you could take your assets that are F assets on the Flare network, or, some of the common native assets like Spark, YFlare, YFin, those could also be traded on an order book DEX over on the XRP ledger. And, both have their pros and cons to them, but I think it's cool that we could have options like that. And the fact that ORA especially will be able to be issued on the XRP ledger will give it that decentralized unit of account. And I'm really hoping all those things will kind of, pick up the DEX and get more people trading on it, because if people were to, or, firms or just individuals out there were to tap into that DEX and do a lot of trading, especially if we can get assets in there trustlessly with a decentralized counterparty, I mean, that kind of eliminates a lot of these central exchange problems.
It,
They're not going to be down and stuff. Like, you have so many different UIs you can use to get into the XRP Ledger DEX. They're not just going to say, oh, yeah, the market's crashing 25%. Yeah, just live with it. So to me, it's really exciting, and with the possibilities that could emerge out of this.
yes, absolutely. And the key component that's going to allow all of this is RA, which is the decentralized global stablecoin pegged to the US dollar. So this would be the first ever decentralized issued asset on the XRP ledger after XRP. So we don't have a decentralized stablecoin on the XRP DEX to trade against right now. You have XRP, but XRP is volatile. It's always going to be volatile. It's never going to be a stable coin. It doesn't have to be a stable coin because we have things like RA, which could be issued right from Flare onto your Zum wallet on the XRP Ledger DEX. And now this allows another trading pair. But the great thing here is RA is backed by FXRP and is going to be backed by Spark and potentially FBTC and other F assets. So the core collateral for it's going to be XRP itself. So this is just an amazing piece of technology. And this is the reason why XRP doesn't need to be a stable coin. So there's no need for it to be stable in that way, because we could create other types of decentralized stablecoins to trade on the ledger. Now we could bring Litecoin on, we could bring Bitcoin on, but they could also be used as collateral in Probity. So you think of Probity as kind of like a decentralized crypto bank that's managed by this DAO. That's what it is. It basically issues its own currency and it manages the collateral. And then Trustline, its app itself, that will have some custodial components to it. It'll have insurance with it. It will have a pay string. It'll have your digital identity with it. And it'll have a fiat on and off ramp. So you'll be able to take your RA and cash it directly out to fiat to your bank account. So this is more of an integrated product. And another interesting thing that was just released yesterday. So Ripple X has been doing the grant program. And we're going to do a video on that tomorrow, I'm going to do. But I just wanted to touch on this quick. Trustline was given a grant of $100,000 from the Ripple X dev team and that whole grant program. So you know that Ripple is funding a small component of it. It's only 100,000, but still they're backing this project Trustline. So you could feel confident in that. And there's a whole slew of other projects we're going to go through in tomorrow's video, which I thought really exciting. A lot of NFT and metaverse projects going on.
Hey, Mickey, do you remember who it was in 2019 that was talking about a XRP-backed decentralized stablecoin?
Oh, yes, I do. We did a video. I'll never forget. One of the first times I ever was on YouTube and did a video. It was myself, Brad Kimes, Lee, SPQR Lee, and Kurt from Love for Crypto. We did a whole video when we first heard about Kava. And the whole point was you were going to use XRP and crypto as collateral to back a decentralized stablecoin. Now that turned into USDX on Kava, but it never made its way onto the XRP ledger yet. This is like a super version of USDX. And not to knock me at USDX at all. It's a great product on Cosmos, but this is just powerful because it's a trustless gateway. So we've known about this for a while. I've been talking about it. So I don't.
And David Schwartz too. So
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's also who. David Schwartz in 2019 was the one who told us about the decentralized stablecoin that they were looking to build. Well, this is it, because you don't need the Oracle component is built into the Flare network or Songbird network, and you have these decentralized price feeds. That's the core component. When you're delegating these votes, you're helping the system to decentralize these price feeds. And the Oracle is usually the weakest link always of the system. Now we know that's at the center. That replaces mining. That's how secure the price feeds are going to be coming in here. With 20 plus signal providers, you always know those price feeds are going to be as accurate as possible. So now anyone could build applications on Flare utilizing those price feeds. And then anyone on the XRP ledger could easily see that RA stablecoin has the collateral it says behind it by easily just looking up a smart contract on the Flare network, seeing there's transparent collateral behind it. And that's it's just such a powerful value proposition because we're kind of attaching these networks together with each other. And then you have Flare with its state connector system is what allows all these F assets to come over to the Flare network. So this is like the core of interoperability that you could have. Like you're literally like, I don't even know what the word is, merging these networks together where there's connected.
Absolutely. And, to touch on a couple other announcements from this blog as well. So originally, they'd only been able to test the Probity Vault system on the Costin testnet, which is what CFLR is, but they have successfully tested using ERC20 tokens. And with this, they are going to eventually launch Probity on Songbird as it's close to ready. So hopefully we'll get to do some testing with that before it goes up on Flare. And then additionally, they successfully tested delegation of native tokens to the Flare time series Oracle while locked in a Probity vault. And this goes back to what we just talked about that Tim was saying. This feature allows the owner to receive time series Oracle inflation rewards while simultaneously generating yield as an Ore supplier or while borrowing Ore. So that's really cool that, they've already tested and it works with the system after we just kind of read and learned how that worked from Tim. And additionally, the Trustline app, I believe, is going to take a little longer to come out. Matt said that originally they were trying to find some way to automate the managing of collateral and Probity. So you could almost like treat it just like a higher yield savings account and hold stable coins there. And with that, kind of with some of the uncertainty with the Len product with Coinbase and just some other things with the SEC attacking stable coins, that he's just holding, trying to figure out the best path forward to avoid any issues in the long run. So that kind of stuff may take a little longer to come out, but Probity is just about ready to go, which is really cool. And we should be able to try that out soon. So Mickey, with that, we can get into our last piece of news, which is really cool. If anybody remembers, we did a video back in April, or it may have just been you, Mickey, before I was making them with you all the time. And it had to do with Delchain, which is a subsidiary of Deltec Bank. And they are kind of one of their crypto blockchain arms and are kind of a custodian for high net worth individuals. They let them tap into DeFi and things of that nature. And they're located in Singapore and the Bahamas. So with this, they have partnered with Lena Instruments, and Lena Instruments is one of the newer signal providers we just found out about. I remember when I was looking at them a few days ago before I delegated, that they had some ties in Switzerland, and I finally found their website, of course. And after I kind of realized looking through it that they do a lot already. So they say we build safe, scalable blockchain infrastructure so we can deploy, maintain, delegate, and stake for you on more than 50 blockchain networks. Let us do the work, let you enjoy the passive income. And so with that, they have some information on Flare and Songbird, as well as their signal provider service. And down here lower, this says all the networks that they've already built on and have projects in place for. So basically every name out there that you can earn on. Very impressive seeing this. And so kind of to get more into this announcement, Delchain they're setting up a special partnership with Delchain so that their users can delegate through the Lena Instruments signal provider, their wrapped Songbird or Spark tokens. In the future, I imagine maybe they have some kind of discounted rate for the commission rate or something like that, or it may just be a good signal to people that Lena Instruments could be a pretty legit signal provider out here. So I'm really looking forward to see how they do in the first week, especially since it seems like they have a lot of expertise, and the fact that Delchain, picked them, they did that for an obvious reason.
Yeah, and Delchain is a Flare partner. So I just want everyone to know that they partnered with them. We're looking right here at the signal providers, and now they're going to grow. So we've all heard that there's many institutional holders of XRP. Now, all these institutional holders of XRP have also received Songbird and Spark through their custodians, their custody wallets, whatever they use. They've received Songbird and Spark. So they're going to want to earn their passive income too. So we're going to start to see more enterprise grade signal providers that might be just for them, might be just for the market makers, might be just for the institutional holders. So as much institutions are involved in XRP, they're naturally just going to be a part of Songbird and Spark because they're receiving the tokens. So they're going to be stakeholders and participants too. But what's nice is we don't have any big whales in here that are going to be able to move the market. It's only Flare Limited and the foundation who have the large amounts of tokens, and they're not dumping them on the market. So we have a fair distribution of all these tokens, which is, David Schwartz has always said, is one of the most difficult things in all of crypto to do, is to distribute the tokens far and wide. And Flare and Songbird have been able to achieve this so rapidly right after the network launches. Like come Monday, we're going to have almost 100 different exchanges have the tokens in their possession. Now, if they release them to their users right away or not is a different story, but it's distributed so far and wide. We already have decentralization of the token distribution. We're going to have decentralization of the consensus. And now we're going to have decentralization of the whole FTSO Oracle system. And now we haven't even got to the state connector system and the F-asset system. That's coming next. So I hope everyone understands the scope of how massive this project Songbird is and Flare, and they're using these cutting edge technologies. So this isn't just some like random project that got spun up, off of Ripple. This is a cutting edge next generation blockchain that's beyond any of the other EVM chains out there. So keep in mind that Songbird and Flare are considered EVM chains. They take all the best of the Ethereum network and its smart contracts, remove all the flaws, and add superior technology in with the consensus, the Oracle system, the state connector system, and then the F-asset system, which is coming. So this is our first way to earn rewards through these time series Oracle signal providers. Now, on Songbird, the F-asset system and state connector testing will begin after the 27th. But you're not going to be able to earn rewards from minting F-assets on Songbird, unfortunately. But on Flare, you will. And that's where the massive rewards will come from. So look at these multiple ways you're going to be able to earn rewards straight from the network to build up generational wealth. So it's not always about, and I keep repeating this, it's not always about just the price going to the moon. You're able to build up wealth by earning these passive income streams in a decentralized, non-custodial way without having to trust anyone, away from the hands of governments, centralized entities. So it's best to do this if you're comfortable using Bifrost. Stick with the percentage right now. Don't get too caught up in that explicit delegation. This is the first we're hearing of that, and I'm sure more information will come out on it, and Patty and I will cover it. If there's a way for you to do it yourself, Patty or I will do a tutorial on it. But right now, just know that you need to prepare for next Wednesday night to be able to get your delegations in. That means if you're getting from the exchanges on Monday or Tuesday, set up your Bifrost wallet now, set up a Decent wallet, and we went through yesterday how a Bifrost wallet with biometrics on it is nearly as secure as a hardware wallet. So this is 2021. These wallets are very secure these days, and now we are not sponsored by any of these wallets. This is just my opinion. It's not financial advice, but the biometrics is stored in your secure enclave security processor. Nobody can access them. That is unhackable. So just so everyone knows, they feel comfortable using these software wallets, because they've been told for years, hey, cold storage everything, cold storage everything. But that's not really going to work with these new networks and participating with them and interacting with DeFi. If you want to, you could connect it to MetaMask, but that's a clunky process. And you could support Joe Lubin and Consensus if you want, but I'm not feeling like supporting Joe Lubin and Consensus. I'm going to stick with Bifrost and Decent right now. Those are the two. That's not to say there won't be other ones in the future, Patty. We could see plenty of other wallet providers come out.
I certainly hope we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we do too. And these signal providers are going to build businesses on top of them. So we're just at the embryonic stages right now of all this. And it's exciting to see things like Delchain and the Swiss Lena Instruments come in. And we'll see more signal providers. So it's just a very exciting time to see this breakthrough technology being used. And we're able to benefit from it. We earn rewards at no risk. That's very rare you could say that. Like in the banking world, you have to give up custody of your money to earn under 1% interest. Now you could hold your assets in your own possession and earn rewards get directly to you. So I think it's just exciting, and this is the future. This isn't DeFi now. The FTSO is not DeFi. This just supports a DeFi ecosystem. So all the dApps that are built on Flare and Songbird could tap into these price feeds. And that will give them a more robust, strong foundation, because there's no weak link as trusting an Oracle or trusting like Chainlink, which puts up stake. This is superior in every way.
Yeah, and the Oracle is one of the major components of protecting, a DeFi protocol from, these DeFi hacks that you hear about. Not every DeFi hack is somebody just, breaking into the code or something like that or having a backdoor. A lot of them occur due to, faulty business kind of logic. At least that's how I would put it. If somebody's able to overload the Oracle system because it's not decentralized enough with enough value, then in that instance, they can shift prices on the network and take advantage of it because they know it's going to happen since they're initiating the action. And that's where you may have nothing to do with the Oracle at the moment. But if it doesn't stay decentralized, that, you could get caught up in some of those kind of attacks just because of a systemic risk. So it's really important just for anybody, if you're going to be a long-term holder in the network, like you really, really should delegate, because if this Oracle system fails, then I don't really see how, that takes a lot away from Flare Network's potential in the long run. So, contribute to that possible success and, do your part, delegate. It really doesn't take much. If you're going to sell it, that's fine. But, if you're just going to hold it, you might as well delegate. There's really no reason not to. And you're just going to hurt yourself in the long run by not doing it.
Absolutely. And these are community-driven networks. Remember, all these public blockchains are community-driven. They might be institutional grade, like what Flare says, and Flare Finance is institutional grade DeFi.
All right. I think Mickey cut out there. So I'm going to end this since I can't pause on StreamYard, unfortunately. But this is the DeFi standard. I'm Patty XRP. That was Mickey B. Fresh, and we're out.